We have been doing grammar for quite some time now. So for a change, let's learn few kanji characters in the next two lessons. Konnichiwa minasan. Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk about Japan, the Japanese language and the Japanese culture. Today is lesson 73 of this series, Japanese for Beginners, and today we are going to learn these four kanji characters in this lesson. Friends, if you are not yet a subscriber of this channel but have been watching its videos, then do subscribe the channel so that you get instant notification whenever we upload a new video. The URL of this channel is pretty simple, youtube.com/at Saral Japani. It's SARALJAPANI. For the videos of all the previous lessons posted so far in this series, do visit the playlist section of this channel and click on this playlist, Japanese Lessons for Beginners. And under this playlist, you will find all the previous 72 lessons and also this lesson 73 all at one place. And you will be able to watch all the videos one after the other if you have not watched so far. So let's begin today's lesson. Japanese lesson 73, Kanji 81 to 84. Friends, since it has been long that we discussed kanji in this series, and since there have been many new subscribers who joined lately, let's have a quick recap of what all we have covered about kanji in this series so far, so that the new members can go back in the playlist, as I just mentioned, and watch all earlier lessons of kanji to stay up to date. And as we move on in this series with new kanji symbols, it becomes easier for them to digest the new ones. So in lesson 3, in the very beginning of this series, we introduced the three scripts, hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And in that chapter, in that lesson, we had discussed about the basics of kanji. Then in lesson 16, we saw how we should learn kanji and what are its different aspects. And in that way, because generally students find it very difficult to remember kanji. So in that lesson, we gave some tips on how one should learn kanji. And then from lesson 17 onwards, we did kanjis uh, one after the other. So lesson 17, from lesson 17 to lesson 20, we did kanjis from 1 to 50. Then in lessons 41 and 42, we did from 51 to 60. Then in lessons 51 through 54, we did another 20 symbols. So ultimately, we covered 80 kanji symbols so far in this series. So let's take a quick look at all those 80 kanji symbols which we have covered so far in this series. So this is that list. So you can pause the video here and look at these symbols. I won't waste much time on this because we have today's lesson to cover as well. So this is that list, and now I have colored those kanjis which belong to grade 1 of Japanese curriculum. That is grade 1 school students. They study all these kanji characters which have been marked in pink color. So out of those 80 kanji characters, 76 belong to grade 1, and the remaining 4 are outside of the grade 1 syllabus. So these are basically from the JLPT N5 list. So we have not yet covered all the kanji symbols that are present in the JLPT N5 list, but these 4 at least are present in that list apart from the ones uh, present in grade 1. So this is the summary of what we have done so far. So here again, the same thing, 76 out of 80 kanjis of grade 1 have been discussed, and 4 kanjis outside of grade 1 have been also been discussed. So total 80 kanjis discussed so far. So that means now in grade 1, there are total 80 kanjis. So since we have done 76, so that means there are 4 kanjis of grade 1 which are yet to be discussed in this series. And today's lesson deals with those 4 kanjis. That means these are the 4 kanji symbols which belong to grade 1 and which we have not yet covered in this series. So in this series, in this lesson, we will discuss these 4 kanji characters, and this will complete the grade 1 kanjis, the 80 kanjis of grade 1 curriculum of Japanese schools. So what we will study for each of these. So those who have done a previous kanji lesson of this series, they know that we do the readings in Kun'yomi and On'yomi. Now, what is the difference between Kun'yomi and On'yomi that we have discussed in detail before? So please go through the lessons as I mentioned in the previous slide so that you a get the difference between these two. Then we discuss the meaning and examples of usages of the concerned symbol. Then we discuss the stroke order, that means how to write this symbol in the proper stroke order. Then we identify if there is any other kanji radical involved in that symbol or whether the symbol itself is a radical. And finally, we look at some evolutionary aspects of the symbol to have an idea from where the symbol originated, descended, or evolved. So having said that, now let's begin our discussion on these four kanji symbols one after the other. So the first symbol is this, which means a jewel or a ball. So the Kun'yomi reading is tama. The symbol is called tama. So quickly talking about Kun'yomi and On'yomi. Kun'yomi is the Japanese pronunciation of the kanji symbol, whereas On'yomi is the Chinese pronunciation of the symbol because this has come from the Chinese script kanji. So that's why there are two pronunciations. So there are two kinds of readings, the Kun'yomi reading, which is the Japanese form, and On'yomi reading, which is the Chinese form. Now, since Chinese is not, it doesn't belong to Japanese, so we use the katakana script to represent it so as to bring out the difference with the Kun'yomi. Otherwise, there is no reason why we should write katakana here. So coming back to this symbol, in Kun'yomi we call it tama, and in different usages, tama can be followed by some other portion of the word or some word followed by dama. So in these three forms, this tama may appear, and then the onyomi is gyoku. So both have the same meaning, which is jewel or ball. So now let us look at some usages. So tama, it indicates a ball, a sphere, globe, drop, a pile, which may be a pile of noodles, a light bulb, then lens of glasses, etc., then bead of an abacus, and the most important one is gem or jewel, pearl, and even the testicles may also be referred using this symbol. So this is really amazing that in English also, in the slang language, we refer to the testicles as balls. So in Japanese also, this slang is present in which the male genitals are referred to by balls. So in that usage also, this symbol may be used. Then we have tamago. Tamago means eggs. So again, this is uh, this is derived from the fact that eggs are shaped like balls, spherical or little elliptical. So that's why tama is used to describe eggs. So tamago means eggs. Then we have Saitama, which means a city or a prefecture. In Japan, the country is divided into prefectures, like for example, the Yokohama prefecture, Tokyo prefecture, and like that. So that is called Saitama in Japanese. So next we move on to the onyomi usages. So the first one is gyoku, and it represents the same meaning which we have just seen for Kun'yomi, tama. So it's the same here. And apart from that, there may be some more usages. For example, this is gyokuon. This is gyoku and this is gyokuon, which means the emperor's voice or any beautiful voice or a beautiful sound. So that is gyokuon. So now this is interesting that the original meaning is jewel or ball, but when we add something else with this, a different kanji with this is a composite word containing more than one kanji, or you may also add some other hiragana characters to form a new word, the meaning entirely changes. The meaning is completely changed now. So now it has nothing to do with a ball or a jewel, but it means the emperor's voice. So now the meaning of jewel is not the actual physical jewel, but something very beautiful or shining, having luster, just like a jewel. So, from that perspective, the meaning is derived as the emperor's voice or a beautiful voice. So, likewise, we have another word which is shu gyoku. Shu gyoku, which again indicates a jewel, a gem, and again it may not be a physical gemstone, but it's a gem of something. That is, gem of a story, gem of an essay, or a very good accomplished work, or a very beautiful piece of work. So all these may be represented by using this kanji symbol and by adding some more kanji symbols to it or some more hiragana alphabets to it. Now the radical which is used here is king. You might remember we did this radical in one of the previous kanji lessons. So only this is the additional stroke which is present here. So we will see in the next slide how it has been derived. But before that, let's look at the stroke order, how to write this kanji symbol. So this is the first stroke, then this is the second stroke, the third stroke, the fourth stroke, and finally the fifth stroke. In this way, we write the character. So stroke order is very important in Japanese writing. If we don't follow the stroke order, although we may be able to write the character in any stroke order, but it will not give you the exact shape which is intended for this character. So to maintain the stroke order is very, very important to make the writing more effective and more correct. So this is what we were talking about, the evolution or origin. So as you can see, this is the ancient script, the ancient form of this character, where we can see three pieces of jade. This is a precious stone. Jade is a precious stone. So in ancient days, three pieces of jade strung together on a string. This is the original character. And from this character, the modern version has been derived. So the character's shape was historically very similar to king. So when this character was derived from these three beads and strung into a string, it was more or less same as the symbol which was used to represent the king. So this additional stroke was introduced to differentiate between the two. So there was no other reason, just to differentiate this symbol from that of the kings. This additional stroke was introduced, and this is how this kanji symbol got derived. So this was ball or jewel. Let's move forward. The second kanji symbol for today's lesson is the red color. In Kun'yomi, it is called aka, akai, or anything after aka. So these are the three usages or the three readings or the three possible combinations in which aka may be used. And in the on'yomi, we have seki and shaku. Next is the usages. Aka, the simple and the most common meaning is red. Aka is the red color. It may also indicate crimson, scarlet, or red containing any color, for example, brown, pink, orange. But yes, so something else will be added after or before Aka to give the exact meaning. Then the Communist Party may also be represented using this symbol. Then red light in the traffic signal, red ink used in finance or proofreading. Then we have in the red, complete, total, perfect, obvious, copper. So all these meanings may be indicated using this character, and also the red 5-point card. Now combining Aka with Ramu, we have Akaramu. Akaramu means to become red when our face gets reddened because of anger or when we blush. So to represent that, Akaramu is used. Moving on to the On'yomi readings for red, or so in On'yomi we have Sekigun. This is Sekigun, which is the Red Army of the Soviet Union. between 1918 and 1946, then Workers and Peasants Red Army, or the Japanese Red Army, JRA. So all these represents the communism or communist parties across Soviet Union, China, Japan. So for representing that, this red color kanji of this red color is used. Then we have the Japanese Red Cross Society as Niseki. Niseki represents Japanese Red Cross Society. So here you can see the kanji. This is the ni, which is the day, which represents day, and this is red, which is seki. So ni and seki becomes niseki, and this is the Japanese Red Cross Society. Similarly, we have shakudo, which means a gold copper alloy, often with a blue patina. This is a radical in itself, so it doesn't contain any other radical. This is an original radical. Let's look at the stroke order now. This is the first stroke, the first horizontal stroke. Then we have this vertical stroke. Then we have the third stroke here. This completes the upper portion. Then we have the fourth stroke like this. We have the fifth stroke like this. Then we have the sixth stroke and the final seventh stroke. In this way, this character will be written. If you practice it on your notebook, it will become easier for you to remember it. Now let's look at the origin of this kanji. Very interesting. So if you see, this is the ancient form of this symbol, which is found in ancient scripts, and it represents a human here in the bottom, I'm sorry, and two fire kanji symbols on the top. So this is one fire symbol, you very well recognize this, and this is the second fire symbol. So two fire symbols and a man in the bottom. From this symbol, this modern kanji has been derived. You can see the resemblance of both. So this basically indicates reddening or to get angry or to blush. So when a man gets reddened up or heated up, it represents that mood, and generally getting angry or to blush is accompanied with reddening of the face, and from there this red has been derived. So that means this character finally became the character to represent the red color. So really interesting, like how the red color symbol has been derived by relating it to a reddened face of a man due to his anger or blushing. So this is all about the kanji representing red. Next we have blue. So I won't say green because in modern Japanese the blue color is represented using this symbol, and it is called ao in Kun'yomi, and these are the different ways in which this basic word may be combined with other words to give to make newer words. So ao, aoi, and other forms of ao. Similarly, in onyomi we have sei and sho. So let's look at the usages now and meanings and usages. So ao, originally it used to represent blue, bluish, greenish, green, and anything that had the green or the blue tint. So that's why you will see so many mention of so many colors in this meaning. But in modern day Japanese, ao is solely referred to for blue color. To represent blue color, ao is used in modern Japanese and not green, because we have a different word for green, which is midori. So ao means blue in modern Japanese, but in ancient Japanese, different shades of blue and green used to be referred. So that's why we have all this. So ao is blue, azure, green, then sometimes green traffic light. The horse coat color, which is black, that is also sometimes referred using this symbol. We have the blue 5-point card. Now, this blue, this ow is also used to indicate immaturity, unripe, young, and inexperience. So the inexperience may be in terms of age or sexual maturity at work, in sexual intercourse, and so on. So this is basically the you can say virgin or unripe, something unripe fruit. So for example, we have this aume. This is aome, which means an unripe plum, or it also used to represent blue eyes. So you can now uh, visualize or understand for what all purposes this kanji symbol may be used. And mind one thing, the symbol is not used in isolated form to represent all these. So it will be used with some other kanji symbol or some other fraction of hiragana words to represent all these meanings. Otherwise, only this symbol cannot give so many meanings in isolation. Going to the onyomi usages, we have seika. This is seika, which means fruits and vegetables or an organic produce. Then we have seiyun. Seiyun is the blue sky, erudition, detachment from the world, or some high rank. Then we have the blue dragon, which is an auspicious creature in Chinese mythology, which is called Seiryo. Seiryo. And you can see this is the kanji Sei. Everywhere this kanji is there, and it is combined with some other kanji. So two kanjis in each, and with that we get a different meaning every time. So blue dragon is Seiryo, and then this is the Rokusho, sorry. It's Rokusho, which means the green copper rust. So you might remember, you might have seen the green coating that gets deposited on copper statues. So if you have visited Kamakura, there is a place called Kamakura in one remote corner of Tokyo. So if you have visited Kamakura, you will know that the huge Buddha statue, it has a green kind of coating over that. So that is the green copper rust, and that is nothing but that is nothing but rokusho. Rokusho. Again, this kanji is a radical in itself, so it's the original one. There is no other radical or kanji involved in this. And the stroke order is also similar to that of the previous one. First, we have this horizontal one, then this vertical stroke, the third stroke again horizontal, the fourth stroke again horizontal. This completes the upper part of the kanji, and then the lower part is very much similar to that of the moon or the month. So we have the first vertical signal, which is the stroke 5 of this symbol. Stroke 6, we have this entire thing, and stroke 7 and stroke 8 are the two horizontal lines. So in this way, in 8 strokes, we complete the writing of this symbol. The origin or evolution of this symbol is equally interesting as for the previous two kanjis. So here you can see the two parts. The upper part represents this kanji, modern kanji, which is the kanji for life or growth. So life or growth, and it is accompanied with this portion, which is the cinnabar. Cinnabar is nothing but a substance which was used for dyeing. So dyeing is basically coloring. And by extension, it came to imply the color in general. So giving the combined meaning of color of growing plants. That is color of growth or color of growing plants, which is blue-green, bluish green in color. So from there, from this symbol, which is growth followed by color. So growth of color is green or blue, and that represents this modern symbol. So from there, this symbol has been derived. And as I mentioned earlier, so in ancient times, this blue and green used to be combined together, and that's why the green color has been considered in developing this symbol. However, in modern time, this symbol is used to represent only the blue color. The last kanji for today's lesson is that of a thread or the silk thread. And this is that kanji. So it's simple. In Kun'yomi, we have just one reading, which is called Ito. And in On'yomi, we have one reading, which is Shi. So Ito means a thread, a yarn, or a string. Then we have Ito Guchi. You know very well, Guchi is the any mouth or an opening is called guchi, and which is represented using this kanji character. So ito guchi means the beginning, the start, the first step, clue, lead, hint, or the end of the thread. Then you have yokoito. Yokoito, which is the crosswise threads on a loom. So you might have seen there are perpendicularly one set of threads going towards going from left to the right, and the other uh, goes from top to the bottom. In that way, there is a cross connection of threads all over the fabric. So that crosswise threads on a loom is called yokoito. And then we have kiito, kiito, which is the raw silk thread. So since in ancient times, from the ancient times, this silk threading and silk generation was very popular in China and Japan. So from there, it all started. So originally, this was used to represent the silk, but nowadays, in general, for thread, we use this kanji symbol. The on'yomi readings include shi, which means a thread, which also means the 1/10,000th part, which is 0.0001. Then we have shu. Shu means a light rain or a drizzle. So this symbol, you might remember that this is the symbol of rain, which is ame. So when we combine this symbol with that of a thread, so it represents a light rain, because a thread is very fine and very thin. So if we combine this symbol with that of the symbol of rain, then it indicates a very fine rain or a light rain, or simply called a drizzle. Then we have another usage as sanshi. Sanshi means silk thread or silk yarn. And similarly, kinshi, kin, as you know, is represents the gold. So this is that kin. So you also remember that Kun'yomi, which is Friday. So this symbol is also used to represent Friday, and in which case it is called Kun'yomi. Yobi is the day, and kin is the gold. So similarly here, kin shi. So kin shi is the gold thread. Kin is gold, shi is thread. So these were some of the common usages of this kanji symbol. Again, this is a radical by itself, and this is the stroke order. So the first stroke will be like this. Second stroke is like this. This is the third stroke. So this completes the upper portion of this kanji. So let's repeat one more time. This is the first stroke. This is the second stroke. This is the third stroke. This is the fourth stroke, the fifth one, and finally the sixth stroke. So in six strokes, we complete writing this kanji. And as I mentioned earlier, the stroke order is extremely important, especially for those characters in which we have such curved uh, portions. So in these cases, the stroke order must be maintained. Otherwise, you will never achieve the intended shape of the character. Next is how this kanji character was evolved. So here we can see thread which are interwoven with each other. So there are two threads which are interwoven with each other. So this is one of the symbols. This is another one, and this is finally the modern one. The most modern one was evolved into this. So how all these came into being? So there is an explanation for that. When used as a radical component on the left, the Japanese kanji uses a compressed form of this symbol. So this is the modern symbol, this one, with this symbol, which is the symbol of thin or small on the bottom. So you can see here, this is that part of the kanji which represents small. So this is the kanji for small. But the central stroke, this stroke of the small kanji, is written as a single horizontal line without that bottom hook. So this hook is missing here, and it is also the historical form found in the Kanji dictionary. So as I said, this symbol indicates thin, and the upper part represents a shred. So basically what it wants to say is that this is the part which represents a very thin structure like a thread, and the upper part, this represents a shred which is nothing but a fragment or a piece of something, silk or thread in this case. So a very thin fragment or a very thin piece of something is what this kanji character is trying to indicate. And so this has been accepted as the kanji character for a thread or a silk thread. So this is how this character was finally evolved into this shape that we have today. So friends, that's all for today. With this, all 80 kanji characters of grade 1 have now been discussed in this series, and with an additional 4 characters outside of grade 1, which I mentioned in the beginning of the lesson. So in the next lesson, we shall learn 6 more kanji characters, and then we will return back to the grammar discussion as before. So once again, I request you all to subscribe to this channel so that you get notifications of the videos posted. And we shall meet again very soon in the next video of this channel. Till then, arigato gozaimasu. Mata imasho.